This question is from Greg in Seattle. Sadhguru, I know you're against intoxicants and such things, but Oregon just decriminalized small quantities of cocaine, heroin, meth, and psychedelic mushrooms. People are saying mushrooms can be used to treat depression, anxiety, and such issues. Are you still against intoxicants if it's for a good cause like this?
Oh. Did I ever say I'm against intoxicants? I'm for intoxication. Yes. Look at my eyes, I'm always intoxicated. But they are not against small quantities. I am against small quantities. I believe that you must carry an intoxicant manufacturing factory with you wherever you go. They shouldn't be able to find it in your pockets. That's all I said, because how much can you carry in the pocket? See, there may be… Okay, here there is a wishing tree. In this culture, there is something called as a wishing tree. You can go to that tree and ask what you want and it'll always give you in whatever quantities you want. In India, there are more imagery of this. There is a kamadhenu, that means there's a cow which will give endless amount of milk and nourishment for people and wealth. There is akshaya patra, that means there is a vessel where endless amount of food, you can serve 10,000 people, but still there will be food. In that, it never gets empty. All this imagery is because you want an endless source of whatever is good in your life. For that you want an endless source. Hello? Isn't this the aspiration? A wishing tree, a magic wand, a kamadhenu or a akshaya patra, what it means is, you want an endless source to whatever you think is the good thing. Well, right now you think intoxicants are a good thing. See, I have an endless source. I am offering it to you, but you want to carry it in your pocket in small quantities, I am against that. Yes I didn't say I am against intoxication, because if you want to maintain a very high level of intense awareness and involvement with life, without intoxication you cannot do it. But do you want intoxication which disables you, or do you want intoxication which enables you? That's a question. You must answer that question for me. Do you believe in disabling yourself or enabling yourself? That must be answered, all right? If you believe in enabling yourself, I will teach you another way to be intoxicated. Well, someone there says, Sadhguru, I've been doing Shambhavi but I never got intoxicated. There are certain aspects to life. That is, a certain dimension of life opens up to you only when you pay a certain level of attention and do what is needed. An endless source of what you think is good will happen to you if you want… if you think joy is a good thing. Where do you think endless source is? In the food that you eat, in the beer that you drink, in whatever else that you do in your life? Endless source. Endless source can only happen from within, isn't it? About making all these things legal, well, there are people and forces which will benefit heavily from this are involved in this process. And it could be controversial, but it is true that a whole lot of people are willing to… I know a lot of people that have been… young people who have been brought to me by their parents, only when they were threatened with imprisonment did they go for rehab, otherwise they will not go. When the option is either prison or rehabilitation, they chose rehabilitation instead of prison. Well, it is not in my consciousness to have any human being locked up for anything, for that matter. But at the same time, declaring those chemicals which disable human beings as legal itself is a crime, if you ask me. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you must look back. Right now, everybody is watching China or the rise of China with great interest and trepidation, depending upon who you are. But in early 20th century, they say nearly 70% of the Chinese population was addicted to opium, which is encouraged by various forces. If you do not know this, the British fought 3 opium wars with China, wanting rights to distribute opium. I know many families in India who were used as the trading routes from Afghanistan and Pakistan, where this was grown, to China. The Indian businessmen took this up and many families became super rich and still they are very rich. Nearly 70% addicted to opium. Abject poverty came to that nation and that culture. Well, it took killing of a few million people and a violent revolution to fix that. I am not condoning anything nor approving anything, but this is a fact. When a population sinks into addictions, then it will lose all worth and all value of what they do. In this country, 4-5 generations of people have worked their lives out to build this nation to what it is today. Now, you don't have to do much. If you do, it'll be good for the world, but otherwise at least you can sit back and enjoy what these generations of people worked for. Now, you want to disable yourself. You think it's your right to disable yourself by using chemicals which will intoxicate you, and there is substantial evidence to show that it disables your mental process. There is no question about this. It doesn't matter because researchers can be funded by anybody and they can make up what they want. It doesn't matter who says what. Chemically intoxicating yourself, including alcohol, I'm saying, in some way disables you. You think it's all right to be partially disabled, that's up to you, because then you can park without problems. Hello? At least in the parking lot, you have privileges. This is the whole problem. This is what… when I read this poem also, I don't know if you got that line, this is what is the problem with the world. People who don't make anything of themselves think and believe they will be welcomed somewhere else into a great hallowed place somewhere up there. The same is happening here. Well, a nation which was built from scratch with much pain on all sides, and these last 3 to 5 generations of people who worked their lives off 12-14 hours a day without a day's break, many of them, believe me, they built this nation. Well, you may agree with the way it was built or not built, that is a political thing, but you cannot deny they built a great nation. Now, you want a whole generation of people on intoxicants, stoned out. This is the most terrible thing you can do to the generations that have gone by, those who worked to create what they created. If you value that, well, whether they make it legal or illegal, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't go in that direction. You must understand that you're doing these things not because, like you come up and tell me I can use magic mushroom and cure depression. First I'm asking you, why the hell are you depressed? I know this will bring a lot of acrimony to me, because there are certain people in the world who claim depression is their right. See, there are psychological ailments which are pathological in nature, which, not that they cannot do anything, there's very little somebody can do about their condition. There are people like that, unfortunately. It is there. But a large number of them, because of their own attitudes and their own responses to the world around them, they make themselves sick. Physical health, let's handle physical health. Is it true that now at least you're realizing that if you eat properly or carefully, let me put it that way in America, not proper, carefully, and if you put in enough exercise, walking, running, whatever, yoga, anything, at least you walk to your office every day. Is it true that you will physically, whatever many other people are susceptible to, you will not succumb to those things? Hello? Is it true? Simply eating sensibly, living little bit sensibly, does it enhance your physical well-being? Then how come you believe living sensibly will not enhance your mental well-being? How come you think it's your right? It's not your right. It is nobody's right to be sick, because if you're sick, if you become sick, we will take care of you. But if you think it's your right to be sick, no, because you are a burden on your family, on your community, on your nation, on your world, on everything you are a burden if you don't stand up on your own 2 feet, 2 legs, isn't it? So this goes for mental ailment also, but my words may sound very cruel to somebody who is suffering mental ailments, because how do I do it? Yes, there is a problem. The problem is of delivery, not that there are no solutions, the problem is of delivery. That is, can we deliver the tools for human well-being in such a large scale? We can if a lot more people stood up to make it happen. Right now, only a few people are concerned about it, so delivery is minimal. Because delivery is not like pharmaceuticals, delivery is not like food. Right now, because I mentioned food, let me tell you, yesterday I was in Arizona for a conference, the first conference I attended physically in the last 6 months. And they were all sitting for breakfast, they asked me to come for breakfast. Well, I don't eat breakfast in those places, but I went there to see them. So then there is some doctor who's asking me about food. I said, see, right now on this table, this is a top-class hotel, all right? The kind of food that you have on this table, just about everything here is at least 1 month old. It is. Bread was baked 1 month ago, the animals that you're eating were killed at least 1 month ago, everything there, except the fruit. Everything else, or even maybe that is also 1 month old, I don't know, possibly. I'm saying when you eat food like this, you will generate so much inertia in your system. Countering this itself is a battle. When you create so much inertia in your body, how do you expect your mind will not be a little depressed? How? If you want to be mentally in a certain state, every cell in your body should pulsate with life. If all of them are pulling you down, well, your mind will become depressed. There are many ways to look at it. This is not about being insensitive to people's suffering, but you thinking making all hallucinogenic drugs legal is a solution. Well, you are in many ways writing the downfall, you're scripting the downfall of your own culture, nation and generation in many ways. Because once it becomes legal in America, the pressure will build up on all the other nations. Make it legal, make it legal. I've already told you about how in India, university students are telling me, Sadhguru, why don't you influence the government to make marijuana legal? They're asking me to influence. I told them this nearly 3 years ago, at least 2.5 years ago. I said, why marijuana? We'll make everything legal, which is what right now one state in the United States has done. I talked about this 2.5 years ago. I said, let's make everything legal, cocaine legal, LSD legal, meth legal, whatever you want. Whatever list you have, we will make everything legal. But why are you asking me this question? Because you want to go to the university smoked up. They say, why not? Then I go through a process with them and then I come to the place where I say, suppose you need a surgery today, unimportant, a major surgery, and the surgeon comes smoked up. You willing? You say, oh no. So you clearly understand your faculties will be lowered. How did you come to this thing that lowered faculty is high? So I said, I'm not saying don't smoke. From now on, when you smoke, you just say, I'm down. Don't say, I'm high. Because with lowered faculties, if you believe you're high, you're crazy. When your faculties are lowered, you're down, you're not up. Hello? But when you believe going down is up, then that's a tragedy. Yes? That's a serious tragedy in one's life, that you believe going down is up, losing your faculties is gaining life. No. It is by enhancing your faculties that your life will go up. Your experience of life will go up only by enhancing faculties, not by lowering your faculties. If you can see better, hear better, smell better, taste better, touch better, feel better, life is at a higher level. If you go that high on the senses, then we can tell you how to go beyond the senses. If you go down, how to take you anywhere? Down is the only way. When everybody knows these things are addictive and it takes away your faculties, no, only on Saturdays I have no faculties, Monday morning I'm okay. All right, 2 days in a week out of 7 days, your faculties are down. Just calculate how many days in your lifetime are you down. Is that a good way to live, I'm asking? Especially when you have no activity which is… this is a strange question, I never understood this initially when I came to United States, but then I figured it. Everybody would ask me when I first came, what do you do for a living? You're just doing this like this, but what do you do for a living? I said, I just live, I don't do anything for a living. But you got to pay bills. How many bills you generate is your choice, isn't it? Hello? There's no standard number of bills you have to generate. How many how many bills you generate is your choice, and to pay that something you have to do. Well, even recently somebody asked me, well, you have no bills to pay. I said, God damn it, I have more bills to pay than anybody else, son. I have a few thousand people full-time on me, I have more bills to pay, you know. I'm paying school fees for a few thousand children, I'm taking care of food for thousands of people every day, so I have more bills to pay. It is only that you think generating bills and paying bills is life, because you have become a slave of the economic process. The economic process demands that you must buy something today, otherwise how will the economy be up? Hello? Now slowly they are working on your mind. They have algorithms where they know exactly what smell tantalizes you, what kind of sound tantalizes you, what kind of sights tantalize you, and they will push that. You want to call your husband, it pops up. This particular dress that you went and looked in the shop and you forgot about, but it pops up and says, this is it, discount 25%. You forget your husband and go after the dress. I'm saying, they are following you up. Hello? They are following you up to such an extent where slowly they know more about you than you know about yourself. Yes? And this is dangerous. Forever, you know, because this nation was formed by people's agreement that we will come together as a nation, but our freedom, government should not touch. To such an extent, you even have a second amendment. That means, if the government misbehaves, you can bear arms against the government. No nation in the world has this right. No citizen in the world. So, freedom was more important than nationality, freedom was more important than many, many things which other people value. Now what happened to you? Somebody's algorithms decide what you eat, what you wear, whatever nonsense you do, everything, they're slowly taking you there. It's just a question of time before you will go and have a chip implanted, where they will only tell you how much protein you need today, okay, you order this now. Because anyway, your concerns have become like this, so naturally when you behave like a machine, best it's controlled by somebody. A human being has to be conscious, only then is human. If you behave like machine, you will be naturally controlled. So drugging people, legally or illegally, doesn't matter which way you do it, legally, illegal is only a social issue. Drugging people, one way or the other. Right now we've reached a place, if you want to be healthful, you need chemicals. You want to be peaceful, you need chemicals. You want to be joyful, you need chemicals. You want to be ecstatic, you need chemicals. For everything you need chemicals. So in that condition, this seems to be all right. I am not talking only against these hallucinogenic drugs. I am even saying pharmaceuticals should not be at the scale at which they are. They are at the scale at which they are because people are living badly. Because an individual person or a society or a nation seeks affluence mainly for this. Initially, it's a choice of nourishment is all they're thinking about. Once nourishment is taken care of, they're looking at a choice of lifestyles. The most affluent nation on the planet, which has an enormous choice of nourishment, but they choose to eat food which is minimum 1 to 3 months old, an enormous choice of lifestyles, but they live in boxes which are continuously at whatever temperature they want. Now, 70% of American population is on prescription medication. Whether it came prescribed or you bought it in the back street, I'm saying to be healthful, to be peaceful, to be joyful, to be blissful, if you're using chemicals, you are going down the chute. So my problem is not just with these recreational drugs. My problem is with you using chemicals even to grow food. You're using chemicals to do everything. This is going to hurt. No, we are using plant-based… Sadhguru, you don't know all these things, intricacies. They were the previous, the 60s, you come from 60s, your generation was only smoking the leaf, now we smoke the bud. Well, I want you to understand, all the chemicals also only came from the earth. Nobody imported any chemical from Mars. Hello? Even the chemicals also, so-called chemicals also, came from the planet Earth only, right? Hello? Maybe it got processed, but still from planet Earth. So, it doesn't matter, maybe the level of harm may be less, the level of impact and addiction levels may be little less, that's not the point. A human being is at his or her peak only when all our faculties are at our best and we are at the highest level of alertness and awareness. That is when a human being can be at their best. If you want to dispute that, all the best for you. My concern is, don't take America down. Because if all Americans go down, America goes down. Don't do that, because generations of people worked to make this happen. Don't destroy it so soon.